Hi there. It's me, Fenella. Okay, so it is Thursday, March the 6th, and I am standing in my bathroom so you can see me, the back of me back there, because the light is really, really good coming through here. Just finished working out, and I said, let me get my eyes to the right camera. I said I was going to come back here after I did my show on Wednesday morning at 2:07, starting at 2:07 a.m. And so I wanted to give you all an update. So just to recap, I'm Fenella. I am 52 years old and I retired January the 31st. So I have been doing lots of different things and I really plan for my retirement. If you look at a video that I posted, I believe it was last Friday, you can see there's some very particular things about how I was able to retire at age 52. Really, the bottom line is I plan for it. That's really the bottom line. And so, anyway, so I am a reseller. And one of the things with reselling is that you constantly have to pivot and change, well, shift, so that you are providing a very good value for your customers, but then also you're making money. And so I think I decided this Sunday that one of the things that I have been intending to do is to do a show that is overnight. So I am Central Time Zone. And most of my shows happen on either Friday morning, I may do like a 5:30 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. show, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And Sunday. Usually I do one or the other. Sometimes I do both, okay? And so what that allows for me to do is to be able to ship and get things to the post office pretty quickly. When I do it on Friday, I ship the same day, right after the show, and everything goes out same day. And when I do it on Sunday, of course, the post office is closed on Sunday. So I ship on the next day, which is Monday, which is a United States Post Office day. So I've kind of created that rhythm for myself. And you may say, well, what are you doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Well, I'm sourcing. Looking for things, and I probably could be doing shows during that time. I probably should be doing shows during that time, but I really the point of retiring is to have like a less stressful life. And so it is not my intent to jump back in and be working full time. That's not my intent. I don't have to do that financially, thank God. And I really don't want to do that. And so I get to choose my schedule. And right now my schedule says, 1 to 2 maybe times per week, is enough. Because one of the things with reselling is, okay, say for example, let's just go to Wednesday morning. So I made this plan. I'm going to do a show 2:07 a.m. I'm Central Time Zone. And so what that means is, like, over in California, it's 12:07. You know how this goes. Over in the East Coast, it's 3:07 a.m. And a lot of people work at night. And so I thought, well, let me just try it and see. And so I have several racks of Rent the Runway left. And these were garments that I sourced, and so I thought, okay, I could just run those, because those are really, really like runway type brands, right? Like $500 dresses, you know, $800 shirts, just really, really high dollar items. So what I planned on doing it was to just, do the show overnight. And so all that day I had in my mind, which would have been Tuesday, this past Tuesday, okay, I need to make sure that I'm ready. And of course, I do the show upstairs in our guest room. So everything's always already set up. But, on Tuesday, I just did like a preliminary look just to make sure that, things were organized. It always is, because everything's just hanging on the racks. And I had some idea of how I was going to run. And so then my husband came home and he's like, okay, why aren't you in the bed? I thought you were getting up at 2:07 a.m. And I'm like, well, that's the time the show actually starts. So that means I have to get up at like 1:07, 1:30, something like that. And so I'm like, no. So I was watching because it's March and I love NCAA men's basketball. And so I was watching some of the games. And so I'm like, okay, I do need to at least lay down. So I did that, and it was by the time I got in the bed, it was maybe because there was some exciting game on. It was maybe like quarter to 12, may have even been 12. So I'm like, okay, I need to get up. No, it was 11. It was 11. I was like, okay, I've got a little while, and then I'll get up. Of course, you get in the bed, and it's like, you having to go to the airport. You are awake, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I can't miss it. I can't miss it, right? And so I was asleep, but I was awake anyway. Long story short, 1:07, my alarm clock goes off. Finally, 1:39, I finally get out of bed and I go upstairs and I start the show. 2:07. I think I ended up doing it starting like 2:10 a.m., which is okay. That nobody cares that you're starting late. Mostly what buyers care is that you schedule the show and you're actually going to have the show. So I did it, and I actually have shows on Whatnot. It's a reselling app. Wonderful community over there. And so, and again, I'm in my bathroom, y'all, because the light is really good right now and the sound is really good here. So that's why I just decided I'm just gonna go in the bath so you can see. I know you can see my reflection. Hopefully that's not annoying for anybody. Anyway. So I get up, I do the show, and right off, I probably have like 11 people in there. And what I'm learning is it really doesn't matter how many people you have in your show. What you really want is buyers. You want buyers. And so I normally run about 10-second auctions. And every time somebody bids, the clock restarts, the 10 seconds. And so I had like 3 different price levels. $7 is for the rent the runway garments that may have had a small flaw, and then $10 because I had some pre-loved designer luxury that started at $10, and then $15 was the rent the runway no flaw. So 3 different tiers of pricing, which is extremely low, especially if you consider that, again, some of these dresses, even the shirts, some of the jackets were $595. That's $595, $695 and up, right? There were some things in there that were, $199, that kind of thing. But anyway, the point being, it was not a cheap lot, okay? And so anyway, so it was going really, really good. And then somebody raided me. So you say, what is a raid? So a raid, one of the brilliant things that Whatnot came up with is to keep people on the app. What sellers will do is at the end of the show, they will find another seller to send all of their people to. And it's brilliant. It is brilliant because it literally just keeps people shopping on the app. It's very addictive. And you may say, how in the world could it be addictive? You really have to try it just to experience it and see. And so there were, I think it's like 88 people, something like that. Like I turned around and I was like, 98 people. And so normally what happens when you get a raid like that, of course, you thank the people, introduce yourself to the people that are now joining your show, and you run a giveaway. And so that's exactly what I did. And I was pleasantly surprised that a lot of those people hung around in my show, because sometimes you'll see in certain shows that after the raid, you'll see like some of the numbers go down, right? Because people, like, they didn't choose that show. Like the show that they did choose ended, and that particular seller sent you to another show. So sometimes people stay, sometimes they don't. And again, I was pleasantly surprised to see that a number of those 98 people, it wasn't 98, it was like 80, maybe 85 people hung around and stayed. So it was great. So I'm going through selling. And so I ended up selling. I probably could have sold more, but I looked at the clock and it was like 6:30 a.m., right? I started at 2:07 a.m. And so I looked and it was 6:30 and I was like, okay, beautiful people. This is gonna be, my last couple of items. And then please make sure you bookmark my upcoming shows, the whole thing. So and when it was all said and done there, I had 72 items that I needed to ship, which was perfectly fine. And so when you have to ship, so the show's over, but now you have to actually fold up things, put them in either a box or a poly mailer, and you have to send it, print out your labels. That's how you get paid. And then you've got to send all of that stuff. So one of the funny things, because again, this is my first time doing a show overnight like this. Well, early in the morning. I've done 6 a.m. shows. I've even done 5:30 a.m. shows, but I've never done a show at 2 in the morning. But I just wanted to see. So really, in the end, I ended up with I don't know, like a lot of new buyers for sure. Because that's not my normal time. So the people who normally buy from me were in bed, and so probably 95% of my buyers on just this past Wednesday were brand new. That was yesterday. It feels like eons ago, because by the time I finished and I shipped everything, I probably decided to lay down, because remember, I've been up since like 1:39. Actually, before that, I feel like I've been up all night. I laid down after I got everything in the box, took everything to the post office. First ran the labels. I had to fold things up, because one of the things about being a reseller that I take pride in is the way by which I ship things. I'm not, there are some sellers that, just shove things in a box, and and most people don't care because you got a really, really great deal. But for me, presentation is everything. So I like to make sure that I am packaging things nicely, because I like to have my stuff, that I've spent my money on, presented nicely. So that takes time though. I mean, if you think about a person, like for example, I have one customer, brand new customer. She bought 9 items from me. That's 9, Nine, which was great. It's great. But then you've got to figure out how to get 9 items, in one poly mailer, right? And it's not hard, but sometimes it can be tricky, right? And so all of that is just labor in addition to doing your show. And so that took a little while to ship. I'm very much used to that, but it's all a part of the process. So I took it, and then I had to take everything to the post office. And I'm one of those people that I like to get everything done. Like somebody else may have said, okay, I've had the show, because Whatnot gives you, I think, a 48 hours or something like that to ship. No, I like to send my stuff right away. So right after the show, I literally brought everything downstairs and started shipping, because I want people to get their stuff sooner than later. And so again, when that was all said and done, after I dropped everything off at the post office, it was probably now after 11, like almost noon. And so now now I'm tired. I'm getting delirious. Like I couldn't find like one of the items that went in that big order. And I was like, okay, you're tired. Let's just stop and think about it. And then of course, I found it and put it in there, and it was fine. But I know how I get. And when I get tired, it's like, you just can't think. And so that was probably one of the drawbacks. That was for sure one of the drawbacks of doing a show overnight like that, is that I was tired, but really my brain was even more tired, because leading up to the show, I'm thinking like, okay, running things through my head, how's it gonna go? And so, you kind of visualize all of these things. And so my brain really didn't rest so much. And then I tried to lay down, and I probably did go to sleep, but not for very long. Okay, so my brain was exhausted by the time I finally laid down. So I laid down, and then I got up, and I was still, of course, tired. It was still yesterday, and this feels like it was 3 days ago, but it was just because, I feel like I did not go to sleep at all yesterday. And so my husband was coming home, and so I was up, And I was like, man, I'm just really tired. And he's like, well, just go to bed, you know. So I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and get myself together, get a shower, and then I will go ahead and get in the bed. And so by that time, I was still feeling pretty tired. Like he brought home some food and, you know, that was good. And I ate, you know, I wasn't super hungry because I was just tired. So I did go ahead and get in the bed, and I think there was another basketball game on, and I'm a big NCAA men's basketball fan. The women too. I like watching the women's basketball games too. But anyway, I think Alabama and Florida were playing, so I was just like up watching it, and I kept saying, okay, you need to go ahead and go to sleep. You need to go ahead and go to sleep. But I ended up watching those games and then some of the analysis, and then finally I fell off to sleep. So this morning, which would be Thursday though, it's today's date, March the 6th. Thursday, March the 6th, I felt fine. But one of the things that I noted that I didn't really fully realize is like, I didn't have any coffee yesterday, and I am a big coffee drinker, And I didn't have any coffee because I was getting up at 2:07 a.m. And I probably could have set my coffee pot, you know how you can program it to start and have that. But I was just like, I don't know that I want to be super wired, because I knew that at the end of it, I wanted to be able to go to sleep. And so if I've got all this caffeine in me, so anyway, so I just ended up with tea. And so that's why I felt like I hadn't been charged, because, you know, coffee is a big part of it. But this morning when I got up, I was fine. I did have some coffee this morning, but it wasn't like, you know, I needed it. Anyway, I say all that to say, you know, in retirement, you know, I'm trying different things, you know, well, I can't say I'm a new reseller, because I've literally been reselling since October of 2023. Really started full steam ahead February of 2024 with 900 McDougal dresses, and then I turned around and got like 300 more, which was crazy town. But it was a really good experience, and those dresses were high in demand. They're still in demand, not as high in demand as they were, but I'm thinking about sourcing them again, because people will come into your show because those dresses are made with such high quality, and it's just something that people want. And we're in the season now where people are going to be looking for prom dresses, for dresses to go to weddings. You know, brides are going to be looking for, you know, bridesmaid dresses, you know, that whole thing. People are going to formals, you know, for spring, the whole thing. So it can be very lucrative. So I am thinking about getting the McDougal dresses again. But I'm also looking at some other stuff. I'm working with another supplier to provide some really cute, very flowy maxi dresses. Anyway, so again, this is about me being 52 and retired, and some of the things that I'm doing now that I don't have to go to work anymore, you know, go into a physical place and organization, and, you know, get in traffic and drive. And, you know, we wore uniforms where I worked at before. I mean, you know, you had a big selection, but you still had to have, like, you had to dress a certain way and be there for a certain period of time. Now we, you know, had remote options, but you know, I left at the right time, because they announced just before I left, like, everybody needs to come into work full time, and, you know, you can work remote. I think it's something crazy, like once a quarter or something like that. So yes, I got out just in time. Anyway, because I did like the freedom, of course, and most people did, being able to, you know, work from my home. You know, you can get a lot of stuff done. And anyway, so it's just nice to not have that. And so I am, again, as a reseller, I'm not new, but as a full-time, a newer full-time, kind of really full-time, but not really full-time, because remember, I'm only selling when I want to sell. And mostly it's going to be like 2 days a week. And again, my whole point is to not have this set structured schedule, like I'm trading one job for another. I'm not going to do that, because I don't have to do that, and I don't want to do that. Right now, it feels like shopping. I mean, you know, and I'm a big shopper. And so being able to figure out what to source, it's challenging, but it's also fun. So it doesn't feel like work. So that's what I'm up to. That's what's been going on. And so you say, well, will you do it again? I was telling my husband this morning or yesterday, I can't remember, because the staying up all night just messes with you time wise, because I feel like I did stay up all night. The only thing, the last time I did that, like, because I felt kind of sort of like I pulled an all-nighter. The last time we did that was when CrowdStrike had that whole thing with the airport, and people were stuck in Atlanta. We were stuck in Atlanta in the airport, like stayed all night. It was crazy. Canceled, the Delta canceled our flight. Anyway, that was the last time I stayed up. So anyway, so will I do it again? Yes. Will I do it every week? No, absolutely not. I'm thinking maybe max 2 times a week. But there is like an unmet, I believe, an unmet need for people to be selling at night, because people work at night. And, they're doing their job and they're on their phone, just like people that work day shift do, right? And so there are people that are on through the night, but it presents a really good opportunity for me, because I did have higher sales working or doing this, 2 a.m. show to 6:30 a.m. And I probably could have stayed on for another hour and probably sold, I don't know, maybe 20 more dresses. But, I knew that my brain was starting to become even more fatigued. So I knew it was just time to call it, right? It really wasn't about hitting a financial number per se. It was just really about trying something different. So anyway, so I said I would come on and kind of give you all the results. So hopefully you all don't mind me being in my bathroom. Again, the light is so splendid right here. So that's why I'm here, and I'll see you all. Thank you all so much for watching I have to remind people to say, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. I only have a dribble full of subscribers, and I really want to get that up, because I really want to be regular on YouTube, providing you some interesting content that you can benefit from. One thing I will say before I close is that if you are, want to retire, want to do something different, I promise you, you can do it. You just have to make a plan. That's all that, there's nothing special about what I did. I just made a plan, right? And so you can do it too. So I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.